said that the Lord, in the shape and form of death, destroys all a person's possessions. Mrityu sarvaharashchaham. I am all-devouring death. The Lord, in the shape of death, takes away everything that is created by the conditioned soul. Everything in this material world is subject to perish in due course of time. However, all the strength of time cannot hamper the activities of a devotee. For a devotee takes complete shelter under the lotus feet of the Lord. For this reason only is a devotee free from formidable time. All the activities of the karmis and jnanis, which have no touch of devotional service, are spoiled in due course of time. The material success of the karmis is destined to be destroyed. Similarly, the impersonal realization attained by the jnani is also destroyed in course of time. Arora krichrena padam padam tata patanti addo nadreta yasmadangraya. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, 2nd Chapter, text number 32. To say nothing of the karmis, the jnanis undergo severe austerities to attain the impersonal Brahmajyoti. But because they do not find the lotus feet of the Lord, they fall down again into this material existence. Unless one is fully situated in unalloyed devotional service, there is no guarantee of liberation, even if one is elevated to the heavenly planets or to the impersonal Brahman effulgence. A devotee's achievement, however, is never lost by the influence of time. Even if a devotee cannot completely execute devotional service, in his next life, he begins from the point where he left off. Such an opportunity is not given to the karmis and jnanis, whose achievements are destroyed. The bhakta's achievement is never destroyed, for it goes on perpetually, be it completely spiritual. The bhakta's achievement is never destroyed, for it goes on perpetually, be it complete or incomplete. This is the verdict of all Vedic literature. Suchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Bhajayate. If one is unable to complete the process of bhakti yoga, he is given a chance in his next life to take birth in a pure family of devotee or in a rich family. In such families, a person can have a good opportunity to further progress in devotional service. When Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, was instructing his assistants, he told them not to approach the devotees. The devotees should be offered respect, he said, but do not go near them. Thus, the devotees of the Lord are not under the jurisdiction of Yamaraj. Yamaraj is a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he controls the death of every living entity. Yet he has nothing to do with the devotees. Simply by blinking his eyes, time personified can destroy the entire cosmic manifestation. But he has nothing to do with the devotee. In other words, devotional service, which is rendered by the devotee in this lifetime, can never be destroyed by time. Such spiritual assets remain unchanged, being beyond the influence of time. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Nitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasade Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. We're hearing Lord Shiva offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's doing this for the sake of instructing the Prachetas. So Lord Shiva is praying here, describing the power of the devotee, how everyone else is under the jurisdiction of Yamaraj. But Lord Yamaraj does not interfere with the devotees. There's a verse which says, Ayani ahamni gaschanti cha yamalayam. That everyone will go to the temple of Yamaraj. That's one temple everyone has to go to. But actually the devotees don't need to go there. Those who have engaged fully in devotional service, then they don't have to worry about Yamaraj. But everyone else has to go to the temple of Yamaraj. And they have to take judgment, right? Yamaraj has his secretary there, Chitragupta. And Chitragupta is keeping records of everyone's activities. He's got a good computer system, and he's got it all recorded, everyone's pious and sinful deeds. And we have to be, the people who go to Yamaraj, they are judged and given the appropriate judgment. So we see Lord Krishna, how he deals with Yamaraj. It happened that Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram had gone to Sandipani Muni's ashram for their education. After Lord Krishna killed Kamsa, then he freed Devaki and Vasudeva from the prison house of Kamsa. And Vasudeva and Devaki immediately wanted that Lord Krishna, their son, and Lord Balaram, who was also their son, they should both be educated. Parents like to see their children educated. We see the phenomena today even also, how much the parents they'll spend a lot of money sometimes to educate their children to go to a good university or college or something. So Vasudeva and Devaki, they wanted Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram also to get education, and they were sent to Sandipani Muni's ashram. Sandipani Muni's ashram is that place, it was called Avantipur. Today it's known as Ujjain we have a ISKCON temple there in Ujjain, established by His Holiness Bhakti Charuswami Maharaj. And if you go there to Ujjain, you can see the ashram of Sandipani Muni. There's still some building there. And of course it's not from 5,000 years ago, but they show the different arts which Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram learned. They stayed there for 2 months. So every day they were taught a different art. And they have all the 60 different arts which they learned. Anyway, Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram learned everything from Sandipani Muni. Then Sandipani Muni requested them that, I've taught you, now you have to give me some Guru Dakshin. So he understood that Krishna and Balaram were very special. So he told them that some time ago my son died. He'd gone to the sea, and when he was bathing in the sea, some demon somehow killed him. And he said, so I've lost my son. He said, could you bring him back for me? It's an unusual request, Didn't die, Nrsimha Bhagavan ki. They did not, Sandipani Muni did not ask for Lakshmi or anything, but he said, bring back my dead son. So Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram immediately set out to find the son of Sandipani Muni, and they went to the sea and they found the demon and they killed the demon, but they did not find the body of the son, a body of their guru. So then they went to Yamalok. They went to see Yamaraj. And when they went there, Yamaraj came to greet them, and he offered obeisances to them and requested them, how can I serve you? And so then they told Yamaraj that some time ago, the son of our guru died. So do you have his body here? Is he here? And Lord Yamaraj said, yes, he's here. And he brought him and gave him to Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram. So Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram went back to the ashram with the son of Sandipani Muni. And Sandipani Muni is very pleased with them, and he blessed them. He said, all the mantras I've taught you, you'll never forget. That's a very nice blessing, isn't it? And sometimes devotees study Bhakti Shastri and so on. Well, quickly they forget everything. Anyway, Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram got that blessing from Sandipani Muni. So they went back, after satisfying their guru, they went back to Mathura to see Vasudeva and Devaki. So then Devaki, she'd heard how Lord Krishna had brought the dead son of their guru back from Yamalok. So then she asked Krishna, Lord Krishna, that, your brothers were all killed by Kamsa. You brought back your guru's son. Can you bring back your older brothers? Because there were 6 older brothers. They were all killed by Kamsa. So please, I would like very much to have my children back. They were taken from me at birth, and I never saw them. I never had a chance to be with my children, all 6 sons. So Lord Krishna, he has to satisfy the desire of his mother. Devaki is requesting him in this way. So Lord Krishna again went back to Yamaraj, and he brought back the 6 sons of Devaki, his older brothers. And Devaki, seeing her sons come back, she felt maternal love for them, and milk began to flow in her breasts. So she fed her breast milk to these 6 children. Now previously, Devaki had managed to feed some breast milk to Lord Krishna. Although Krishna was taken by Vasudeva to Gokul, to Nanda Maharaj's house, but still, just for a very brief time, Lord Krishna had taken some of the milk from the breasts of Devaki. So the milk in her breast was now prasad. So the 6 sons, they all came and they all took the milk from Devaki's breast. They enjoyed the breast milk of Devaki, and that was the prasad of Lord Krishna. So they all were liberated and they went back to the heavenly abode. So this was Lord Krishna dealing with Yamaraj, you see. Everyone else is under the control of Yamaraj, but Krishna controls Yamaraj. Lord Yamaraj is one of the 12 Mahajans. Swayambhu Narada Shambhu Komar Kapilo Manu Pralado Janako Bhishmo Balir Vasiki Vayam. Vayam means and I myself, because Yamaraj spoke these names of the Mahajans, the authorities. What happened was the Yamadutas had been obstructed in arresting Ajamil. When the Vishnu Dutas came, they would not let the Yamadutas take Ajamil to Yamalok because he had chanted the name of Narayan. So the Yamadutas came back to Yamaraj, Lord Yamaraj, who was their master, and they were asking him about, is there somebody above you? Because we always thought you were the supreme controller. And Lord Yamaraj had to tell them, yes, there's somebody above me, and you cannot interfere. But he explained also that that there are 12 authorities in the process of devotional service, and he's one of the authorities. So he's an authority in devotional service, but he's not the supreme authority. The ultimate authority is Lord Sri Krishna. So in this way, Lord Yamaraj was instructing his servants, the Yamaduras, about what they could do and what they couldn't do. And he explained to them that you should never go near those people who chant the holy name of the Lord. And those people who are decorated with tulsi beads and like that, you should offer respect to them, but don't go near them. Why shouldn't they go near them? Because they're so horrible looking, right? You just see them, you feel terrified. So anyway, he told them, don't go near them, but offer respect to them. So in this way, Lord Yamaraj instructed the Yamadutas about what they should do and what they shouldn't do. There's an interesting story about Yamaraj. It concerns one young lady. What was her name again now? I'm forgetting her name anyway. She was to get married to this one man. But when they did the astrological charts, they saw that this man, he's not going to live very long. He's destined to have a very short life. And they told the lady that he won't make a good husband for you. You don't want a husband who's going to die so early. Anyway, the lady said, no, it's all right. Whatever happens, I will be with him. So anyway, they got married. And after a short time, as predicted, the husband died. And so with his death, the Yamaraj came there to take him to Yamalok, to take his body, not his body, but to take his soul to Yamalok. But the young lady, she was following, and she wouldn't stop following. Yamaraj was taking the young man away, and the wife was following. She was following all the time. And Yamaraj said to her, oh, you're a very chaste wife, and very good. I bless you. I'll give you my blessings. And so then she said, all right, bless me. Bless me to have a child. And so Yamaraj was put into this situation that he had to bless the lady that she would have a child. But he was taking her husband. And so how can she have a child if Yamaraj takes away her husband? So in this way she defeated Yamaraj, and Yamaraj had to give back the husband. The husband was saved from death by the chastity of his wife. And so like this, sometimes Yamaraj is defeated, but generally he's successful. And everyone has to go and meet with Yamaraj. And Lord Yamaraj will reward them the due results of their activities. And there's an interesting story in the 10th canto, tells about Nriga, Maharaj Nriga, that this one Nriga, he was doing charity. He was giving a lot of charity, and it was the highest charity you can imagine. He would give the best cows, cows which had only just one calf and which were very healthy. Sometimes, in India I was seeing people often give cows, but they give all the sick cows to our devotees. Now we take care of sick cows. We protect all cows. But, of course, to give the best charity, you should give healthy cows, which will give milk. So Maharaj Nriga, he was giving charity. He wanted to do the highest charity. And he would have the best cows, which would give a lot of milk, which only had one calf. And he had the cows decorated with gold and with silver on their horns and on their hoofs, and decorated with a pearl necklace. And in this way he would give these cows, many cows, big numbers of cows, he'd give them away in charity. And he would select the most qualified people to receive charity. He would give the charity to brahmanas. Brahmanas who were not rich, who were actually poor, but who were educated, well educated in the Shastra. He would give them charity. He would give these cows to these brahmanas. However, unfortunately, it happened that one day, when he was giving charity to brahmanas, one of the cows, which had been given to one brahmana, went into another herd of cows and was given to another brahmana. The Maharaj Nriga did not know. It was done unknowingly. But somehow the brahmanas knew. And the brahmana who had been given the cows, he said, "Hey, that's my cow. It's with the other man's cows." But the other brahmana said, "No, the king gave this cow to me." So they argued about it, about who actually is the proprietor of the cow. And so they both went to Maharaj Nriga to see him. And they complained that, "You gave me this cow, and now you give the same cow to another man." Oh, the king said, "Oh, I didn't know, it's a mistake, I'm very sorry. I'll give you each 1,000 more cows." But they said, "No. We have vowed to take charity only one time. We cannot again take charity." So Maharaj Nriga was put into great difficulty. He could not satisfy these two brahmanas, and they went away in an unhappy mood. So in course of Maharaj Nriga, you see, he was actually very much attached to performing what is called karma kanda activities. He wanted to enjoy the result of the charity. You get people like that who give charity. They're simply thinking that I will get much more benefit. I will get a lot in return. Sometimes they say, in India, it's a joke. They say, "Ek paisa dega, 10 lakh milega." You give some small amount, 1 paisa, and you'll get 10 lakh back. And so some people, they give charity in that mood, that I'm giving, but I'll get a lot more back in return. So Maharaj Nriga, he was giving charity in that way. He wanted to enjoy the results of his charity in the future. That by giving charity, my next life, I will be king of heaven. I will go to something like this. I'll become an Indra. I'll take the position as the king in the heavenly planets. I will enjoy my charity. But unfortunately, he had not satisfied these two brahmanas. So it happened that in course of time, Maharaj Nriga gave up his body and he had to go to Yamaraj. And Yamaraj asked him, you have performed many pious activities, but you've also done some sinful activities. And Yamaraj asked him, would you like to enjoy your pious activities first, or do you want to suffer for your sins first? So Maharaj Nriga said, oh, let me suffer for my sins first. So immediately Maharaj Nriga was put into the body of a lizard's body, and he was also put into the bottom of a well, a dried up well. And in this way Maharaj Nriga had his next birth after being king, although he had done so much charity, because he had made some mistake in giving the charity, he had to take the body of a lizard. So this is the danger of doing pious activities, that it's very risky, that a little mistake and you can get big problems. You make a little mistake and the whole thing can come back on you. So Maharaj Nriga, he had to enter into the body of a lizard. And he was in the lizard's body for some time. But it happened in course of time that some children were playing there near the well, and their ball went into the well. And when their ball went into the well, they went to try to find the ball, and they saw this big lizard in the bottom of the well. So they went and they told Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna immediately came. Lord Krishna, of course, he is omniscient. He knows everything. And he knew, this king who is in the body of a lizard. So Lord Krishna came there and he put his hand into the well to bring out the lizard. And as soon as he touched the lizard transformed into the body of exalted demigod, a demigod like effulgent personality. So Lord Krishna asked the man to explain who he was and what happened and why he had been in the body of the lizard. And Maharaj Nriga explained how, as a king, he had given a lot of charity, the best charity, but he had made a mistake. He'd given that one cow away to two brahmanas. And because he'd given one cow away to two brahmanas, he had to suffer the reaction of stealing from a brahmana. And if you steal from a brahmana, that's considered very bad. Very, very, you get a heavy punishment for that. And this is what happened. Maharaj Nriga, because he had actually taken that one cow, given it to unknowingly, but still he had to suffer for that. And he had to enter into the body of a lizard and stay in that body until Lord Krishna came there and he could deliver him. So it was a very instructive incident. Everyone learned the importance not to steal anything from a brahmana. Very risky. So Lord Krishna performed this pastime, and in this way Maharaj Nriga was freed from his results of his sins, and he could go off and enjoy his pious activities. Of course, he was fortunate that he could meet Lord Krishna, but he was not able to fully surrender to Lord Krishna. He was still attached to fruitive activities, to enjoy his piety. So this is a problem. You see, some people, they do a lot of charity, they're very much in the mode of goodness, they want to give charity, but a little mistake and they get problems. So the best thing to do is to take up devotional service. If you engage in devotional service, there's never any loss or diminution. Whatever devotional service we do, that goes into our eternal spiritual bank account. And we take that with us in the future, the results of our devotional service. It's to our credit, whatever service we've done, that's eternally beneficial to us. And as Prabhupada explains in the purport, even though we're not able to, go all the way and become a completely pure devotee, but just the fact that we've engaged in devotional service, we've done some service in the course of our lives, then it's to our credit. And that credit helps us in the future, that in the next life we will take birth. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives a couple of situations, because Arjuna asked about this. Arjuna was also concerned that what will happen if I'm not able to fully perfect my devotional life? What will happen to me? I've given up everything to try to practice devotional service, but if I'm not able to perfect it, then what will be the result? And Lord Krishna explained how there are two possible situations. One is you practice for a short time. You practice for a short time, but you're not able to get perfection. So that person would go to the higher planets and they will enjoy whatever, because they have not achieved perfection, because they still have material desires. They want some sense gratification. So they would go to higher planets and they will enjoy sense gratification there. And then after some time, then they'll come back to earth. And when they come back to earth, after having satisfied their material desires in the higher planets, they will come back to earth and they will take birth in a wealthy or aristocratic family, and in that position it will be easier for them to again take up devotional service. And the other situation is that they practice devotional service for a long time, but still not yet perfect. So that kind of devotee, they will take birth, their next life, they will take birth in the family of devotees. And then in the family of devotees, from the beginning of their life, they have the opportunity to take up devotional practice. From the beginning, from their birth, they'll be hearing, chanting, they'll be seeing deities, they'll be given prasadam, and in this way, their devotional life will be from birth so much easier, natural for them. And so Prabhupada explained like that, and he taught us also that the children taking birth in the family of devotees, that they're very special children, because in their past life they must have already have been somewhat advanced in the practice of yoga, and therefore they come in the family of devotees. When devotee couples get a child, they're not ordinary children, but they're actually advanced yogis in their previous life, not yet perfect, but they're already quite advanced and they've done a lot. They've made a lot of progress. And now they've come in the family of a devotee, and ideally this should be their last life, that they won't have to take birth again. Because they've come in the family of devotees, and so devotional life is there from the very beginning of their life. And Prabhupada said he was like that he was born in a family of devotees. And he said his Guru Maharaj also, Sripad Om Vishnupad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he was the seminal son of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So it's a great advantage to be born in a family of devotees, because quickly they can take to Krishna consciousness. So such people, they don't have to worry about Yamaraj, because they're engaging in devotional service. And Yamaraj has warned his men, don't go near those people who are chanting the holy name. Stay away from them. So, this way, Lord Shiva is offering his prayer in the same way to the Lord. And he's encouraging all of us to engage in devotional service and protect ourselves from Yamaraj. Okay? Any questions? Yes, Prabhu?
Of kind of Lord Nrsimha Dev. Once, sorry. I also read, and yesterday you said that Nrsimha Dev is an incarnation of Vishnu. I also read it in Prabhupada's book. Prabhupada mentions also. But in one class, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj said that Krishna, Rama and Nrsimha, they are Krishna Tattva. And also there's a book by
Jiva Goswami.
Hmm?
Yeah, it's in the Lago Bhagavatamrita, I think.
In one ISKCON devotee, I forgot. He also, Bhakti Purushottam Swami, he wrote this book about Nrsimha. In the introduction, he also writes that Krishna, Rama, and Nrsimha, they are those personalities who have all the 6 opulences. And also Kadamba Kana Maharaj, in one class, he said that Prahlad and Nrsimha, they are present in one part of Goloka Vrindavan. Could you say something about this?
Well, I don't know how. Yeah, I've never heard that they were present in Goloka Vrindavan. That's an
I asked Sayadveda Swami, he could not say more.
Yeah. Well, certainly we know that Lord Nrsimhadev has his own planet in the spiritual world, right? And we also see in the 5th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that Prahlad Maharaj is residing in Harivamsa, and he's worshipping Lord Nrsimhadev there with all the people, all the residents of Harivamsa. Right? The residents, different parts of Jambudvip, and how they're all worshipping different forms of the Lord. And Prahlad Maharaj is residing there, worshipping Lord Nrsimhadev. And they're chanting, of course, that famous mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya, Namaste Tejasya Vir Baba. Like that, the verses there in the 5th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. So Lord Nrsimhadev, his Prahlad Maharaj is residing there. And it doesn't say Lord Nrsimhadev is there, but they're worshipping Lord Nrsimhadev, and they're chanting that prayer to Lord Nrsimhadev. So Lord Nrsimhadev, he has his planet. He's there in the spiritual world. Yes, he's one of the most important incarnations of the Lord. Lord Nrsimhadev, Lord Rama, and Lord Krishna, right? They're the prominent forms of the Lord. So Jiva Goswami mentions these particular forms, that their worship is very powerful, very, very important. And we do see temples are there, and Lord Varaha is also there. Lord Varaha is also popular, but he is mentioned as one of the avatars, right? Vishnu avatar.
Yeah. It's different statements. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can say, he's Krishna Tattva, he's all the opulences maybe there in Lord Nrsingadev, but still, Lord Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's the original Swayam Bhagavan, and everyone comes from him.
Yeah.
Right? Lord Krishna expands as first as Balaram, and then Balaram expands as Sankarshan. Then you have the Chaturvyuhas, the two Chaturvyuhas, and then from the Vasudeva form you get all the different avatars coming in the material world. From the Vasudeva expansion, the different avatars come in material world. Sometimes they come through Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, some come from Shirodakashayi Vishnu. But different avatars are appearing in the world. So where is Lord Nrsingadev coming from? We never actually heard anything exactly where he's coming from. We hear he came from the pillar. He took birth from the pillar, right? How does he take birth from the pillar? Because, well, he's Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is the super soul. Lord Vishnu is the super soul. He's in the hearts of every living entity. He's in every atom. So you could say Lord Nrsingadev can also be in every atom. He appeared there to fulfill the desire of his devotee, Prahlad, because Prahlad had been asked by his father, where is your God? Where is he? Is he in this pillar? And of course Prahlad said, yes, he's there. He's in the pillar. So the Lord Nrsingadev then appears from the pillar. Yeah, there are many different aspects, different ways of presenting this issue. Different points. Prabhupada never spoke too much about these kind of things. You know, I'm just working with what's in Prabhupada's books.
Yeah.
Bhakti Purushottam Swami, he translates books from other people. Anyway, it's an interesting topic to get into. I'm not a great Shastric scholar, but definitely some people could come up with a lot of different quotes, different things.
Yeah.
We get different evidences from different scriptures. Sometimes they appear contradictory, conflicting. You have to understand them carefully. Anyway, he's there in the Dasavatar Stotra, right? In the Gita Govinda, the introduction to the Gita Govinda is the Dasavatar Stotra, and Lord Nrsingadev is the fourth incarnation. Okay, any other question about maybe Yamaraj? Anyone? Yes?
If there is no other question,
Huh?
I'm sorry, it's also not to the topic.
Okay.
Could you, you had so much association of Srila Prabhupada, could you talk also about that?
Sorry?
Could you also talk about your association with Srila Prabhupada?
Oh, association with Srila Prabhupada? Well, you know, I'm just a small devotee. I'm not a big devotee. I was not very close to Srila Prabhupada. But different times, different things happened. I was in Prabhupada's room. What happened in 1977 in Juhu temple, the temple was not yet opened, but somehow they'd managed to get Prabhupada's quarters ready. And Prabhupada was not in good health. He was preparing to depart from the body. It was 1977, Prabhupada's final year, and Prabhupada was not in good health. They'd brought him to London, and he hadn't been well there in London. And then they brought him back. They came back to Juhu, back to Mumbai, Juhu, and they managed to get Prabhupada's quarters ready. And Prabhupada was there. This is before he went to Vrindavan to leave the body. So he was there in Mumbai, and he wanted kirtan, and he wanted devotee, and he wanted very gentle kirtan. So it was 2 people at a time to go and chant in Prabhupada's room. Prabhupada was laying down, and he wasn't able to move much. He was laying down, and he wanted kirtan all the time. So at one point I got an opportunity to go and chant with another devotee in Prabhupada's quarters there. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was the secretary, and he was very strict about who got to go and chant for Prabhupada. Anyway, somehow I managed to get to go and chant for Prabhupada with this another devotee, and we were chanting, the 2 of us. We had one little tiny pair of kartals, and we were sitting there and chanting for Prabhupada. And we were chanting Hare Krishna mantra, but at one point somehow the other devotee, he started to chant Govinda Jai Jai, and Prabhupada opened his eyes immediately and kind of raised his head a little and said, "Just chant Hare Krishna." So that was one instruction from Prabhupada. Then just chant Hare Krishna. Another time, I was in the temple room in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram Mandir, and those days, Vrindavan was very quiet. It had not developed much. We were away from the Lloyd Bazaar, and it was quite quiet and peaceful, not many people. So at midday Aarti came, and there were not many people in the temple room. So I took the kartals and I began to do kirtan because it was midday Aarti. So I thought we should have a little kirtan. So I began to do some kirtan with the playing kartals. And after a couple of minutes, Prabhupada's secretary was a sannyasi named Akshayananda Swami. He came out and he said he had been in Prabhupada's quarters, in Prabhupada's room. Prabhupada was there in his house. His house is behind the temple. It's a separate building from the temple, but just directly behind the temple, Krishna Balaram temple. And I was in the temple room chanting, but I was only playing the kartals, and there was very few people there. So then his secretary came into the temple room and said, "Why is nobody playing Madanga? Prabhupada wants to know. Why is nobody playing Madanga?" He said, Kirtan means Madanga and kartals. So Prabhupada was listening, It just gives you some idea how attentive Prabhupada was to every little detail. Why is nobody playing Madanga? When you do kirtan, there must always be Madanga and kartals. So there was another instruction from Prabhupada. You have to be very careful, very cautious. another time on a morning walk with Prabhupada in London. We were walking. Prabhupada liked to go every morning for a walk. Actually, doctor had told him, Swamiji, you should walk every day. You go for a walk. So Prabhupada took that advice very seriously, and every morning after the Mangal Arti, he would go for a walk. Like to go. Usually devotees would take him to a park or somewhere. So in London also we were walking in the park one morning, and Prabhupada was telling, he saw people laying in the park sleeping. He saw the policeman kicking them, trying to get them up. And Prabhupada was talking to us, he was telling us, he said, one time Lord Shiva and Parvati, they saw this one man, he was a beggar, and Parvati, being a woman, she is kind-hearted, and she asked Lord Shiva that, why don't we help this poor man? We can do something to help him. But Lord Shiva said, well, this is his karma. We can't just change him. So Lord Shiva, anyway, he wanted to show his wife. His wife wanted to help him. So Lord Shiva, he took some valuable jewels, and by his mystic power, he put these jewels inside one big papaya fruit. And then they gave the fruit to this one man, to this beggar man. They gave him the fruit. But they never told him that there were jewels inside the fruit. So the man took the fruit, and he immediately went and sold it for a rupee or two. So Lord Shiva said to his wife, you see, this is you can't really change someone's destiny so easily. So Prabhupada was explaining, he said, these people are laying in the park. He said they may have their parents may be rich and have a nice home, but by their destiny they're sleeping in the park and the policeman is kicking them. Like this. So different times Prabhupada spoke different things. Anyway, like this, we always have to learn how to be Krishna conscious. And if we have to meet Lord Yamaraj, we should try to take advantage of his association. Right? Take advantage. Remember, he's a Mahajan. He's an authority in devotional service. So he can give us good guidance and instruction. Okay, any other question? Anything? Yes, Prabhu?
And these days there is one thing that people who are spiritually inclined emphasize, to be there in the moment. And I was wondering, what does that mean in relation to our terminology? How is that a part of our practice, to be in the moment? Is that Krishna consciousness, or is it something that is important for Krishna consciousness? What does it mean to be in the moment?
Mm-hmm. And yeah. Sometimes devotees, they do speak about this, and be in the moment. Don't worry. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said, forget the past which sleeps, and ne'er the future dream at all, but live with times which are with thee, and progress thee shall call. So that's the same idea, live in the present, now. There used to be the one, he said, be here now, right? And it's so that I live in the present. Don't worry about the past that's over with, and don't worry so much about the future, but concentrate on this moment, at this time. So some people do encourage this kind of consciousness, that it can help you to concentrate more on chanting the holy name, particularly when you're chanting the holy name. Our mind will often be wandering, and we will wonder, we may reflect on the past, or we may be thinking about the future. But when you're chanting the holy name, we want to focus on the holy name. Concentration should be on the holy name. And similarly, coming to Bhagavatam, we want to focus on the Bhagavatam. We're hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Don't be thinking, oh, what's for prasadam? Or what am I going to do today? And like that, The tendency of the mind is always there to reflect, hankering for the future and lamenting about the past. So we do have to give up that hankering and lamenting. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochati Nakanchati Samasarve Bhuteshu Madbhaktim Labate Param. So Lord Krishna is saying, understanding that you're Brahman, that you're not the body, you should be a joyful soul, prasanatma. And joyful soul, understanding we're a spirit soul, we don't lament about the past, and we're not hankering for things in the future. No desires for what I want, but simply seeing all living entities equally, and in that condition then we can engage in devotional service. So yes, it's a nice consciousness to have, to be here in the present. Focus on the present, not hankering on all the past, the future, but just be here now. Concentrate on this moment. It is something which it can be helpful for our Krishna consciousness. And some people encourage it, not everyone. It's also, there's some Buddhist kind of link to these kind of things, these ideas about the now, this moment. But we do need to reflect on the past. We have to learn from the past. We made mistakes in the past. We want to avoid them. And we do have to think about the future also, in some sense, that we want to, do service for Krishna. We want to concentrate how to serve Krishna. What can I do for Krishna, or for the service of the Krishna consciousness movement? How can I best serve the society? So some thought is required. But if you just think only now, okay. But we do need to make plans. Nowadays, even when the GBC meet, they have strategic planning. Strategic planning is a part of a managerial system. They plan the strategies for the development of our Krishna conscious society. So then they encourage every temple. You should have a strategy. What's your plan? How you're going to develop in the next 5 years or 10 years, like that. So if you just only think, oh, well, it doesn't matter in the future, whatever happens, and we'll deal with it when it comes. Certainly, sometimes when you're going to sit and chant japa, sometimes you want to be here now, right? You're going to do your japa. You don't want to be thinking, oh, the the future or the past, but just concentrate on the holy name and hear the holy name. So sometimes they're certainly helpful. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki.